Ladies and gentlemen, it is I, Randy with RTS Mobile Gaming, bringing you another fantastic GamerCast episode for you here. We are at GamerCast episode 120. We have some really cool stuff planned for today. We'll be playing War of Nova. This is an awesome game. It's been out for, I'd say, a little bit under a month now, and I've been playing it way too much. I'm playing on multiple servers. I'm killing people every day, and it's glorious. And we have some special guests here for GamerCast episode 120. We have Tasks and Gravity, some of the developers for War of Nova. So we'll be introducing them and giving them the mic in a minute here. It's super exciting. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be a glorious live stream. I already see Somdip in chat. I already see Rob. What's up, Rob? Loremaster is in chat. We've got Ospel. Very nice. Ospel is actually playing with us. We got Glares over there. Bane, what's up, Bane? Bane wants to do a vodka shot on stream like last time. Just so you guys know, and we have Claire, Tass, and Gravity in chat. On the last live stream, I made a deal with Bane. It was Sunday morning at like 9:45 a.m. and I had to do a shot of vodka for him. So Bane is our illustrious leader here on server 6 with the CMPS folks. Well, he's one of the leaders along with Warlord and the other fantastic folks. So we have a lot of cool stuff going. We're going to talk about a lot of fun things. I'm going to go ahead and why don't we introduce Task and Gravity real quick, and let's rock and roll. Task, Gravity, you want to say hi?
Yeah, hello, dudes. All right, Gravity, go for it, man.
Yeah, man. I am Gravity Blast. I am the game director for War of Nova. Been having a great time. Really excited to finally have launched this for you guys. And just a little bit about my background. I've worked in free-to-play games for quite a while now. Was previously at Kixeye. I worked on all their titles and basically have been in strategy games predominantly this whole time. And this time's been great because we have a lot of fun with more of the 4X flavor of it and our own kind of personal twist, plus some rule sets that you guys are most likely very familiar with, that we all fell in love with. So we're going to get to talk about all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, and my main man over here, Tasks. What's up, Tasks?
All right. Well, thank you, Gravity. Yeah, hello, everybody. Many of you know me as Task Dune. I've been personally working in games for quite some time. Been in the industry for, let's say, 15 to 20 or so years at this point in time.
Damn.
And I'm one of the, it's been a while, man. I'm not a young fresh chicken anymore. But I am one of the lead designers on a mobile game, War of Nova, as Gravity mentioned. And he and I are here today to show you what we got and hopefully answering any pressing questions for you guys. And as I mentioned, quite a few of you guys probably know me from Rise to War. To mention a few of the groups I've rolled with Amor, for most of 1.0, and also a lot of close ties with Lane. And I played in the Evil season with Null and Void. And I'm currently rolling with Yuds right now. Yeah, played Evil back in 2.0 when we didn't have White Council. It was tough, and we had like a few good guys like Jax and Iron Cell and a few people from that group that really showed me the ropes. But things have changed a lot over there over some time. I see some recognizable names that at least are familiar from older seasons of 1.0. Randy mentioned CC Master. I don't know if we've personally had conversations in the past, but I remember this account having all the best stuff, and people were very scared of this guy. So yeah, I've just been around. So some things that if hit my recollection, I might mention it. But for us today, enough about myself. Just more about our agenda for today. Before I hand the mic over to Gravity, I just really want to let you guys know some things we hope to cover today. If you guys have been in some of our other streams, some of it may have been addressed, but we can always go deeper and answer questions. Top things are, we definitely have a mobile game right now. It's available for download on both Apple and Google Play called War of Nova. We also have an additional registration on a website. So if you guys haven't, go there for some extra bells and whistles and some goodies over there. And just a high level talking about what our game is. It is a mobile 4X strategy game. It takes place in space where you can construct bases, strikecraft, and control big armies. And definitely, as Gravity will mention and show you in a moment, there are a lot of factions, ships, and officers. And gameplay-wise, might be right up your alley. Some familiar stuff that you guys have seen, and if you guys have already been playing, big thanks there. Yeah, hopefully we'll be able to show you a whole bunch of stuff you haven't seen just yet. But some of the biggest questions have been around, yeah, I joined at different times and some of my friends were on different servers. Like, what does that mean now and in the future? So we've been putting a lot of thoughts into this, a lot of conversations, also talking to lots of our players as well. So we'll have a whole lot to go over with you guys if that's what you guys are most interested in today. But I guess, like, without further ado, we could just kind of jump into it if you guys are ready. Randy?
Yeah, let's do it. Just in the
Alright.
background, I'm over here EXP farming on some 260 power tiles. If you saw my EXP farming video a few days ago, this is how you're going to level your guys up, so make sure you try it out. You can pick up the tiles, cap them, drop them, all those old school Rise of War tricks. And yeah, man, I'm so excited for you guys. You guys have been fantastic. This game has been fantastic. I'm a big fan of the 4X genre. I've been playing it for, oh man, it's got to be, I've been playing these games for at least a decade now. It's not a great use of my time, as my wife always tells me, but you know, you have to have a hobby, right? So this is what I do, and you guys have done a great job making a fantastic, you know, game engine that has some awesome mechanics, and the graphics are fantastic. Really easy for me to make YouTube thumbnails, by the way, because I can just go to the planets, and they're all beautifully designed. The black holes have made it into some of my video thumbnails coming up soon here.
Nice.
Yeah, it's gonna be fantastic.
Cool. All right. Well, one last note on that. I'll hand it to you in a sec, Ravi. But just because you mentioned farming and dropping tiles, like,
Yeah,
yeah, just recall in like the 1.0 days, I used to always just tile cap myself, and I'd
yeah,
be hitting like different 260s all at once. But then
yeah,
my teammates always hated me because I'd always be tile capped. So at a critical moment when I needed to land, and I hit a tile, I'm tile capped, and I get sent home along
yeah.
with everybody else. So just brought back some memories there. But yeah,
Yeah.
most definitely, I just whenever I'm farming, I just tile cap myself and I just hit tiles, or I
That's
used to
a
back in the
great
day.
strategy. I did include that in my video. I should have. I'm gonna give you a shout out in the next one, man. That's a great. I forgot about that. I did some
No, it's
tile
been a minute.
capping where I killed a tile so someone else could take it. I was doing that on like day 3 or 4. I was trying to give away some 200s, but I haven't. I don't think I've farmed with tile cap. Maybe not even in the Rise to War days, man.
Yeah, but it's also the safest way to when people start creating those 200 threads to help out your buddies. And if you're one-shotting a 200 power tile and you're trying to actually get it for someone else,
Yep,
that's also been the way to go. Just tile cap yourself, crush it, and then let them come in and swoop.
that's the
All
way. And
right, well, we're going super deep though. I guess I'll just pass the mic over to Gravity because yeah, so
get it,
much to show.
Gravity.
I don't want to hold up the ship.
You're good.
Hey,
You're
man.
good.
It's okay. Someone just sniped my pather, and I'm gonna get revenge when this stream's done. So, yeah, all stuff you guys are pretty familiar with. Anyway,
Yes.
in any case, cool. Let me fire up the game right now. I do want to just do a high-level overview. I know some of you guys may have watched Fellow's stream, and I know that Randy can actually show off some killing, so we'll definitely get to that. But yeah, I just want to talk a little bit in terms of like where we came from a design point of view. You know, there's a lot of fun for us to actually be able to share screen here.
Yeah, pull yours up.
And cool. All right, you're able to see this beautiful Ograx man.
1 second here. I got to switch over to you now. Okay. Okay, we can see you. You look. There's Terra looking good. Okay, Arcos. Yep. I'll move my face out of the way. Let's do it.
Let's get the Sovereign guys covered off here. You know, we want to roll with a original IP. You know, something that people were somewhat familiar from a archetype point of view, but since we're still in space, kind of bridging a little bit more towards some of the more kind of untapped things, because we've seen a lot of big IPs out there kind of go just pure military. but there's always that kind of cool fantasy component that is a flavor that we wanted to play with, that we felt was largely untapped, that we've seen in other IPs out there, mainly just other mediums like film and things of that sort. But Terra, yeah, your standard humans, your venerable. Oh, sounds like we got a fire truck going in the background. It'll pass. Comes with being in the neighborhood.
Yes.
Yeah, but as these humans are a newer faction ultimately compared to the other factions and established races that we have within our universe. They're very curious, they're diverse, they're ambitious, they're very youthful. They know when to innovate. But again, new entrants, so they have definitely a lot of ambition. They have a rapid rise, very adaptable, and they believe in cooperation. So they're not as monolithic as some of the others out there, but still kind of a little bit more on the immature side. Still kind of figuring themselves out politically and from a leadership point of view. All stuff that we're kind of planning on exploring as the lore unfolds a bit more. And we want to be realistic too, because a lot of these games will kind of have that sort of depth of the lore itself, but we do want to kind of definitely sprinkle it in when it comes down to character design, when it comes down to ship design, and you guys definitely seen that too, because if you've had access to all the Strikecraft thus far. Let's move on to Vanguard. So
These
Vanguard.
are my favorite aesthetics, by the way. I just have to tell you.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh nice.
I'm sorry.
That's
Keep
good.
going.
Because we always were kind of playing with this idea of like space knights, and sure there are like Jedi and things of that sort, but things like Chronicles of Riddick, when you think of like in Dune, how they're still using melee weapons in that sort of like post AI, post machine world. If you know a lot about the depth and background of Dune, that's why they have mentats, because they were distrusting of computers. But these guys are basically having that sort of chivalry, very noble, moral, kind of tradition bound. So still humans, but ultimately a lot more jacked in a lot of ways. And definitely have these like longer cultural ties in terms of how they serve and their beliefs. Still somewhat archaic in terms of their values, but they have that advanced warfare flavor that's very particular to them. On to our Eldar, which are, my God, just head and shoulders, maybe not head and shoulders, but definitely some of the best ships that we have and designs that we have in the game thus far. Common archetypes for these guys, definitely logical, wise. They are very refined, ancient, but they have a lot of secrets. It's kind of like how the Vulcans, if you ever watch Enterprise, held back the Federation, and we're like, you know what, we'll help you out, but we're going to kind of keep you at arm's reach. But really cool aesthetics for these guys, and they know how to fight very smartly with fewer numbers. And we have our Stonar. Boom.
Yes.
Miners, deep. These are the kind of guys that come from, Helm's Deep. They're miners. They have a lot of this aesthetic that is like taking very bulky ships and then retrofitting them for warlike purposes. Very resilient, very pragmatic. And these guys are fighting hard, very stout at the front lines. And definitely that the notion is that they're pragmatic. They're rich with resources. That's really where their affinity lies within that side of the economical shade, and then also too that they militarily are powerful when they need to be. And then going on to Tyrannus was one on the Dominion side that we went with that was just so much fun. I had played, I didn't really talk a lot to my 1.0 experience, but yeah, I played Evil Men quite a bit and wanted to kind of capture a lot of those elements in there too. I was playing a lot with who's my guild leader at that point in time. It was Tyus, all the way through Dos Ex Madi, and then did a little stint with Dying Light. So those guilds. But these guys are our space empire, effectively authoritarian, ambitious, the little arrogant and elitist. You might call them. They believe in that their culture and their sort of vows are kind of the top, kind of exclusionary with their authoritarian views, but very secretive still. And they believe in a degree of religious zealotry that is tied with power. So very much it's about my way or the highway. We're here to spread our word across the galaxy. and we wanted to make sure that we're going to show it a lot when we do some of the ship close-ups. There's this brutalist architecture that kind of reinforces that feel too. These guys play with a lot of height and a lot of sort of front mass when it comes down to their designs. Arcos are sort of our counterpoint to Eldar in some ways. These are the guys that actually embraced the arcane sequence, and they really end up becoming these sort of mystic rebels, and the kind of guys that are like, you know what, we're going to tap into the dark side a bit more. The kind of stuff that the Eldar are really keeping for themselves.
My favorites, by the way. My favorites.
Oh, really? That's perfect.
Yes. We'll talk about a lot of those when I'm killing people later.
We wanted them to kind of be this little bit of a taboo group, tapping into forbidden knowledge. We wanted that to be reflected in the ships, so that there were this notion that energy kept them together within the Strikecraft, within the capital ships too, and it just have fun with the whole notion of like space spellcasters, the kind of cosmic force type of thing that you don't get to see a lot within a lot of sci-fi fantasy IPs. So. Really cool, and really glad with how they turned out. Our Ograx faction, these guys were great. We're like, hey, let's start with the green skin and see where it goes, and basically wanted to get these sort of like bandit raider kind of personas nailed down. That these guys were superstitious, tribal, that they're these warrior nomads that are going to basically hack together things that they find, but at the same time still have a little bit of an honor side to them as well, but not necessarily that they are top down in terms of how they're organized, that they have their own flavors and bands within their own ranks, but still very ruthless. The kind of guys that are like, oh, look at those brand new Terrans. I think I'm going to go after them. Why not? They seem a little green, so definitely looking for targets of opportunity, and really cool designs, especially with the Strikecraft, which I'm going to briefly run through. We want to make sure that they had the aesthetic of like muscle cars and really cool kind of hacked together designs, all in all. Finally, let me go to our Omega faction, mysterious machines, sentient machines. With,
awesome designs, by the way.
Oh,
my favorite design on this one.
Oh, right on. Yeah, we want to play with a lot of still diversity, but still somewhat mysterious on the character side. But on the ships, just really, we talked to our artists and said, you know what, have fun with these guys. And they came up with some really cool kind of stuff with minimal guidance in terms of what AI ships would ultimately need to be like, the types of stuff that they would eventually evolve to. So, they're very much optimized for effectiveness over survival. And we wanted to make sure that like speed, precision, things of that sort were all kind of communicated within their own kind of visual language. So without further ado, let me talk about my favorite parts here too. I'm going to go right into, I'll stop sharing my screen. I'll load up an actual map right now.
Ooh.
But just, again, it's one of these things where it's like we got just like a fresh dev map at this point in time. So that I can be able to talk a little bit more about the map, because we did have a early access phase back in the fall. Now we basically, from a design point of view, put all types of constraints and balanced it so it was good for a couple of weeks of gameplay, so things were a lot faster. But then we also shrank down the size of the map in that experience. And that basically ended up being about 20% of what you're seeing now and what you're playing today. So there's only about, let's say, about 400-ish players per server at that point in time. And now we're actually we've unlocked and unleashed the full might of where the design, balance, and meta should be headed. So
nice.
Let me just see if I can go on here.
And by the way, I'll be fighting CC Master in just a few minutes here. Just so you know, we will be killing him on stream. He is the top-ranked PvP person for Server 6 right now.
Oh, that's perfect.
And he has
so you're going to knock him down a peg.
Well, he's got a Moonveil, and I don't have any energy resist engineering officers right now, so the Moonveil will... It's a tough one to beat without energy resistance. We'll see what we can do. I'm going to go in. We're going to see what happens. Glare said Randy's going to die. Thanks, Glare. Nariok says hi. Bane, what about you mean about chubby old men? Oh, okay. Ben Bentalaz says just like Rise to War. Lore said, just kill Randy. Good. Good.
Yeah, just go after him first, right? That's
Yes.
Okay, let's see if I can get this
All right.
going. Nice. Can you see my screen?
I'm putting you back on. We can see you.
All right, get that, and let's switch to this group, and then this group. Nice. Yeah. So I was talking about let's go to our big old map view. This is 5 times the size of what we had in early access. And this is just a fresh dev map right now. We do have basically all the starter regions. You guys are familiar if you've loaded up the game. If not, get in there. But the great thing is that we have, we want to go for more of a symmetrical game map design, all in all, as opposed to always being bunched up against the same people, because we knew at certain points in time that if you were playing as evil men, well, you always had to deal with the tier 2 troops coming in from the dwarven side. Those was a big pain in the ass. So we do want to be in a situation where we are being a bit more, again, symmetrical, so that the repeatable mastery is something that we can and players can really capitalize on at the beginning of each season, understanding the flow of things. But then be in a situation where, like, let's shuffle this if we need to. Let's shuffle starting positions. Let's change up rules. I think we want to see what other areas are kind of untapped from those levers that we can play with the meta a little bit more. All stuff that's definitely on the table, because this is something where folks like yourself, Randy, and the players can really give feedback, and we're going to be actively tuning not only ships, but like the map meta as time goes on.
Nice.
So we have this, and again, a lot of this is gated, where the crossing points themselves are linked to various phases. So we did want to actually bootstrap and incentivize a lot of the PvP at various points in time. It's already happening right now on the servers that you've experienced.
Yes.
And another thing too is be a little bit smarter with our base seed logic. We currently right now we'll seed people in certain areas, but we don't want people to get punted and into areas where there's just an irrecoverable position at certain points in time in the season. So I think we're going to work on it. We're going to definitely iterate it, but I think we're going to be in a better position of some good comeback mechanics, being in areas where people are still grouped, have opportunities to really kind of harass and raid all throughout the course of the season, and because we are trying to make sure that people are having a fairly balanced experience, but also too that services just don't end in a way where they empty out. So this is like, F this, it's week 5, writing's on the wall, and kind of have those situations. Other thing we did too is, like, worst case scenario, each area has a fallback region, which are these sort of peripheral areas that have one-way crossing points where people can still go in, farm, regroup, and when the moment's right, they can go strike. Again, concept that we're playing with, and we can see how we want to evolve that over time. But definitely we have the ability to have completely different layouts for subsequent seasons. So season 1 might look one way with a different rule set. Season 2, 3, onwards is all stuff that we have at our disposal. So definitely enjoying that thus far.
Can I just add? I just want to comment on a couple of the great ideas that you guys had with the map. That's a big improvement over Rise to War. Let me just say that, first off, time gating some of the crossings I think has been great, because it has forced PvP on both of the servers. In fact, we just took on server 2, we just took Mensa from Terra, and I still have a day or two left before I can push into the next zone. And there's been a lot of glorious PvP there. Shout out to Locaghost and the Terra folks. And shout out to the Rogs folks, my team there on server 2. And then having that little area, those little areas on the side where the enemies can't get in, that was a big problem in Rise to War. If you were on the losing faction, it made a lot of players quit the game, period, because there was no place to go. Like, you could overrun the entire territory. And I know, because I would say I got first place in about half my seasons, and I got focus fired by the whole server in half my seasons and lost brutally. And I actually liked, by the way, I actually liked losing better than winning, because it meant non-stop action, whereas if you're winning, you're like just trying to keep up with the next fort cluster because you're just blowing through people. So losing is the most fun. But once you lost all your territory in Rise to War, it was really challenging to do anything. I like your guys' idea to have this kind of secluded area that you can only get into when your base gets deleted, right? That the enemies can't come into. So I just want to comment on that, on those two items. I think it's fantastic. And, you know, as an OG Lord of the Rings gamer, I think it's a big upgrade over what they were doing there.
Oh man, well thanks. Yeah, it's something we really want to be cognizant about because it can happen on two fronts, right? One is like just brand new players going
Yep.
through and learning the game, and they pop in. It's been like a day or two, let's say, and it's like, well, all the 40s are gone. Great.
Yep.
Okay, what's next for me? That's not going to really help. And where's the base relocation tokens and everything else? And back in the day, like that was one of those things that you actually had to go through and stock up on at that point in time. It wasn't readily accessible. So
Yep.
yeah, those kind of pain points, just from a user experience point of view, it should be one of these things where, and also the other side of it, where that people even on their own or even in like a bit of a mediocre guild can still find the ropes, because I had some people that went through, joined the game, great experience. They fell in with the right people, and they had the ability to just have them usher them along. Awesome, textbook kind of stuff. Other people would come into the game not necessarily have that, and the social side wasn't as reinforced.
Yeah.
So we want to guard against that for the new and also the mature players too.
I think it's been working. We've had a number of folks that didn't really participate, especially in server 2. Server 6, it's mostly CMPS in our faction. We joined as a group and we got to play as a group. But on server 2, I'm only there with 2 or 3 people that I actually know, and the rest of the group, the rest of our 45 person alliance or whatever, are folks that we picked up, just in the game. And for the first like 3 or 4 days of PvP, it was just like me and 3 or 4 people. And now in the last like 48 hours, we've been able to motivate all these newbies that have been playing for a couple weeks and didn't really understand PvP. We've been making map pins and objectives and pushing, and I think we probably had about 15 people fighting at the same time yesterday, and we actually took Mensa, which was fantastic. But it gave them some breathing room to grow. And I like that the starting areas are a decent size. I haven't even expanded all the way into all the areas that we have on either server. There are 300 and 260 power tiles all over the place. It gives you a lot of opportunity. In Rise to War, I had like the record Town Hall 10. I was always pushing for getting like a 200 power tile on day 1 and trying to get, but that starved everybody, and I think you guys have a good distribution here, which is nice.
And it's only going to get better with time once we get more data in terms of how people are playing.
Yep.
Because we want to make sure that buffer is there, and that ultimately no one gets pretty much locked out. That's
Yeah.
the fear. And if that's your first experience with the game, well, why am I here, kind of thing. And I think we've been in a situation, and also to be very receptive to anything that you guys put forward. So, yeah.
I love it. So you got all the ships up on the screen, including I saw Starweaver there, which I have not been able to get on either one of my accounts, but potentially my potential to be my favorite ship in the game if I ever get it. Are you going to walk us through some of the ships? What are we looking at here?
I'm not gonna go through all of them. I could talk about this for days because
Yeah.
these are my babies, and I love I love these ships. I love ships from all different IPs. So I'll just kind of pick out a few notable ones. But starting,
Okay.
we started with Terra beforehand, but
Okay.
let's kind of look at just some of the design inspiration of these dudes. There are this. We really want this to reflect. What would an emergent sort of space power ultimately hedge against? Well, probably something that is very sort of like Space Marine oriented, and to basically have all that kind of upfront firepower. Still, there's each faction, depending on where they are within their own sort of timeline, within their own philosophy. Some use bullets, some favor more like heavier missiles, some use lasers, and we want that to also be carried forward in terms of the design language. So these guys, throwing a lot of firepower down, because shoot first, ask questions later.
Yes. That's always been my philosophy. Death and destruction for all, blood for the blood god.
For sure, which is why like these guys are kind of up and coming. Yeah, it's still on the good side, but they're definitely up and coming. And everyone else who's a little bit more mature is like, it's these guys again. So these are the guys that have that kind of teen piss and vinegar kind of coursing through their veins in terms of the Terra faction.
Yep.
Versus our more mature vanguards.
Oh, I love killing paladins. Oh god. They're so good. I love killing them. It looks awesome though.
Very much like a sword, very much like swords, shields, blades. These guys have this awesome kind of cool aesthetic in terms of everything looking plated, and that these designs have probably lived like this for quite a while. It's one of these things, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But at the same time, that they want to kind of, they're down to definitely damage in most cases, and especially with the, where's our wonderful, did I actually unlock him? Oh yeah, here is the Valkyrie.
Another one that I love to kill. So the guys I'm fighting against on Terra, they have two big whales, and they mostly have the Sovereign faction ships. So a lot of Valkyries, a lot of paladins that I have to kill these days.
Well, they're coming for you.
Yeah, they look great here in this menu, and they also look great when they're burning at the falling into a planetary gravity field to be obliterated.
Let's talk about some of your favorite ones here.
Okay.
The design style of the Eldar ships, or something that we just fell in love with.
Yes.
We want to communicate that these guys were ancient. Again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And that there are things that they've just had for millennia. They've unlocked the secrets. They've very much refined what they know, what they understand. And that we want to have a really kind of cool escalation arc with their various ship styles. This was a starter ship back during early access, and when we looked at our whole kind of cadre of ships and tiers, it was like, this can't be a rare ship. Like,
man,
everything here is just firing.
That is the best ship in the game for PvP right now. Just so you know, that is the meta. Did a video on that a couple days ago. The Moonveal is God mode, so you guys made a beautiful ship. I have to tell you.
And shout out to, whenever you get your hands on this, I don't know how many good accounts you're going to be running, but
man, I've been summoning boxes all day, man. I can't get the damn Star Weaver. I'm glad you have it, because I'm gonna have to go back to this stream to take pictures of it and use it in a thumbnail. It's so good. Okay.
And we have on our last side here of the Sovereign ships, we have the Stonar. These are the dudes that you know what? They're staunch. They know how to fight. They will definitely equip and arm themselves with whatever they need. So the cannon on this, it's a little oversized, I think, all in all. But definitely tough guys to
it's
fight.
A nice ship. That is the ship I'm leveling up right now. Currently level 33. I am working on training it up for PvP because it looks fantastic.
We really wanted to make sure that none of these ships ended up being too samey. A lot of these silhouettes, even when it came down to playing on the map, that just at a glance, it's like, oh shit, this is coming. Oh shit, that's coming. Oh look, I defeated someone's this or that type of thing. And against this sort of black backdrop of space, these silhouettes, it was very important for us to be able to communicate a lot just from the shape language. And you can see, like, there's a lot of diversity here. A lot of stuff that at a glance you can still tell, and nothing just looks like a budget version of another ship that's there.
They look awesome. And by the way, there's someone in chat, you may have met her, Glare. She wants to know why you're not giving the Leviathan any love, because that is her baby. That is the approximate Rise to War equivalent, and she got it on both accounts. To the Thorin ship that she played for many years and mained. So she wants you to talk about Leviathan. It also looks really cool. It's one of the coolest looking ships you have. So it's a good opportunity, I think. I'm trying to point you in a good direction here because it is a monster.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We took a lot of notes from these guys here because we wanted to give that Raider feel. You know, we definitely have stuff that we saw for a larger command ship. And it definitely took some inspiration from from some of the bigger kind of like Klingon cruisers, things of that sort from various IPs, but also wanted to make it our own. Since these guys do go through and they raid and they are looking for targets of opportunity, and when they show up, that they are immediately meaning business, especially on this sort of larger front, but even all the way down to our Dark Fang, which is still killer, absolutely killer.
Yep.
But
There's actually
my favorite are
I'm
right?
sorry. There's actually a Leviathan marching towards me right now on server 6. I just want you to know that. In about a minute here, he's gonna hit my base. He's gonna hit my Astaroth. Oh, that's my Sunder. Oh shit. It could be a Sunder's my farming ship. Hang on. Moving Astaroth up. I'm sorry. Go, go, go. Okay, keep going, keep going.
All right, let's go on to the Tyrannus faction. So saying that we wanted to take a lot of cues from like brutalism, a lot of big pieces, and that when they show up, it's like, uh-oh, here comes the Empire. So this awesome sort of like grill motif that we go through and repeat quite a few times on a number of their other ships. But yeah, to be able to have those sorts of cues, there's a certain amount of darkness that you can get away with when you skin these ships in space. But I thought these guys definitely came through with a really kind of cool, sleek enough kind of gunmetal vibe. But also there's like Strikecraft just absolutely nail it, and clear escalation when it comes down to here's the big boy. We're gonna have tons of Strikecraft with their command values. Being comparably larger as well. So yeah, a lot of fun just being part of this, and just a testament to some amazing artists that we have on our team.
Yeah, you got some cool looking ships, man. Tyrant is one of the first ones that I got. I'm actually leveling it up as well. I haven't decided if it's going to be meta in PvP or not yet, but it looks cool and it has some great looking abilities. So I think I have it like level 32 or 33 right now. I got too many. You guys have a lot of ships. I got a lot of leveling to do. It's a me problem.
It's not that many. Like right now, we only got 36, and we got more in the production pipeline right now because we do want to be able to play with the meta, but also be in a situation as well that we don't like want to end up with. I think Tasks made the example last stream with like a Merry and Pippin kind of situation. We want to make sure that these ships are being actively balanced, that they are viable. And that people, when they look at they're not going in, they're like, all right, I'm going to do my Sunid build. Oh, well, that's the thing. And then everyone just dog piles into that one. That's not effective game balance. Like you play something like a Hearthstone, season ends. Guess what? Mana cost on this went up. Mana cost on this went down. Let's actually have things be somewhat compelling when it comes to making those choices.
Yeah.
And we're in a great position to be able to do that too, by elevating a lot of these tech trees that we initially wanted to design against. So the other big bad boy that we wanted to cover off was Arcos. So these are the dudes that are harnessing arcane power, and we wanted to have that with the various engine pylons using energy to bind them together. Something cool concept that we also did on the Strikecraft side. But still, again, silhouettes all look totally different. Sunder is very much looking like that 1989 Batmobile. And the Widow, one of my favorites for sure.
Looks dope. Looks dope.
Yeah, man, having a great time. Especially we have that cool wallpaper, which was I think just posted on Twitter, but we'll try to make it available for some other people too. That just have all the ships, all the Strikecraft, and bases laid out in one big kind of top-down view.
Nice. I'll have to check that out.
Gaze at. And we got one more. Last one is, we wanted to go as unconventional as possible when it came down to the Omega faction. These guys don't need really a lot of living quarters or anything else because they're machines. And trying to figure out what in the hell you're looking at was definitely part of the design direction that we wanted to go with these guys, with their larger capital ships and playing with things like we have some little bits of asymmetry kind of going on.
I love the Eclipse. Cool. It looks so cool.
Stuff that just kind of like totally untapped when it comes down to a lot of ship designs. There's a couple examples and a few other IPs, but we're like, you know what? This might be a good time for us to even try our own kind of variations and versions of that. And who better than a mysterious faction like having white exhaust? Another thing you don't really see all that often. So, really cool kind of stuff for us to play with. all across these factions. And then we show off just a little bit of our Strikecraft, just so you can also see. I'll just throw a few of them. But there are some great entries that also show that. So even if it is when it comes us designing the Strikecraft and a lot of IPs that do try to do this with space fighters just end up making them look a lot like fighter jets. This is like as far as we were kind of willing to go in a lot of ways, because then it doesn't quite necessarily resonate as much. We do want to keep it within the sort of space fantasy realm, and it's like, okay, if there are some guys that are going to be a little bit more sci-fi, perhaps we'll just relegate that to Terra. But let's kind of just let our imaginations run wild when it comes down to Eldar and when it comes down to Arcos. And I think we did a pretty solid job of doing that. And like, let's go even crazier and just say, you know what, Stoner is just going to kind of look closer to mechs. A lot of stuff you'd see in Robotech, a lot of anime type mechs. But also the fact that these guys are your frontline, they're your equivalent to like the axe throwers and things, and ram riders in some ways. Yeah, that's generally the good side. Going over to the evil side, yeah, having a lot of fun with Tyrannus. Still just a little bit of the fighter jet kind of angle in this. Again, the silhouettes are all very diverse. But the fact is that when it comes down to them making stuff like the Oppressor, what would their take of like a glass cannon kind of look like? And all that kind of stuff, because they are zealots. They're here with religious purpose, and they're going to throw everything at you, even if it ends up costing them, type of thing.
Yeah, and they are solid, by the way. Especially the Tyrannus units, some of my favorites. You didn't pull up any long range yet. I didn't see the Harpies come out.
Yeah, they can. I kind of like to show all of these guys off in terms of the Arcos faction.
Yeah.
Because there's that cool kind of energy design. Again, this cool like triple pylon, and then just taking it and saying, you know what, let's just flip it upside down.
Yeah.
And be very readable. We wanted people to kind of look at this and be like, yep, that looks long range, despite the fact that it's not just a bow and arrow in everyone's hands, that you can kind of look at the silhouette and get the idea of what this is likely used for, despite the fact that like it's just so different than anything else. Is this guy going to be dogfighting? Nope, he's going to be lobbing stuff from far away, and to kind of give all of that from an impression point of view. Definitely a challenge, because it's a lot easier to just sort of work with human silhouettes. But yeah, hats off to the art team. Just such an incredible job when it came down to getting these high-level requirements all sorted out.
They made some cool stuff, man. That's for sure. One of my favorite designs, just from an aesthetic standpoint, is like the Claymores. They have a really cool look to them. I actually featured them on one of my thumbnails recently. Associated, I think I put them on a thumbnail with the Astaroth, but they obviously don't go with the Astaroth. But they just look so cool. I love that. I love that design.
Yeah, and it's like it hasn't changed for maybe 100 years type of thing. Just one of these, it's like, hey, it works. Let's kind of run with it. And we kind of had less constraints because these aren't necessarily flying or aren't actually in marches. It's just primarily the capital ships. We could go a little bit more wild with them.
Yeah.
Especially when it came down to width or depth, or kind of compared to something that is, small like a beetle. And that was great. That was a lot of fun, because then we could just sort of play with whatever we wanted. So.
And I could just picture a wave of the Stoner Crushers or the Eagles, the Terra Eagles, because they're so big and bulky. I can just picture them dropping out of, the Paladin before I kill it. I can just picture it in my head as they get destroyed.
Let's start with some honorable mentions. One of the things that I think really the Strikecraft for Ograx, I think really speaks to the character. These guys being raiders and kind of cobbled together, but at the same time looking like muscle cars. There's kind of a lot there that they can just sort of push, and that they're really kind of like overdriven, overclocked. Was something that we want to really show at first glance. But yeah, and that they're there to pretty much kill and then kind of take what they need, and they're not really going to take any prisoners in most cases. It's just kind of reads that way. So, yeah, and we're getting look at some Omega units here. Again, told the designers, make whatever you want. It just has to be long range versus short range. These are kind of where the abilities might land. And yeah, they did a really good job with this. We've got a lot of fans of various architectural forms, which helped with those bigger capital ships. But then these guys also, we've got fans in our team of race cars, F1. A lot of cool things that they want to do with like intakes and those types of concepts. So, yeah, man, a lot of really cool stuff, and we're happy that the reception has been really positive across the board when it comes out of these ships and ship designs. So,
I've been
cool
loving
stuff
it.
All in all.
The graphics are definitely one of the things that I've really enjoyed. And to your point earlier, one of the big disappointments for me was when Rise to War changed their marches. They had decent graphics. You guys' graphics are definitely better. But Rise to War had decent graphics, and you used to be able to see the commanders during the march. And I forget when exactly they changed it. But then they made it so it's just this same, everything you could turn off so your allies couldn't see what units you had. And like you never knew what the ship or the commander is. I really do enjoy seeing, the enemy Moonveals or Leviathans or whatever marching towards me. I mean, I think it's great that you guys stuck with that. I think it's important. I think it's an important part of the game. Allows you to kind of work up some counters and actual gameplay and PvP. Like this dude was marching his Leviathan at me, and I knew that my Sunder was going to get whooped, so I moved the Astaroth over. The Astaroth also took a beating. But we moved a different ship over, and I think it allows for richer gameplay when you can counter and theorycraft and do things like that.
Absolutely. We want people to know that because, hey, you did roll something, you did invest in the mastery level. You want to feel that, you want to show that off. So we're going to be doing that again. It's only 36 ships that we have thus far, so we're going to be releasing some new entries in the months to come for sure, and that also holds true with our officers, which again is the equivalent of gear. Just in case anyone was confused, when it comes to sending out marches, capital ships, right? That's like your commander, and then you're equipping these officers like their gear. We have our various slots, command, combat, support, etc. Yeah, just sort of kind of say, hey, these are little bits, good opportunity for us to show off. These are just some of the faces to the actual names.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of mechanics you guys are already familiar with when it comes down to crafting and elevating these guys. So I will hand that over to Tasks to talk a little bit more about our officer crafting system, our wonderful design director.
Nice.
And let me stop sharing screen. He can take over.
Let me give you a couple comments from the stream chat here. Okay, so we've got Ben says he's patiently waiting for a gold ship. Let's see here. Oh, I think he's talking about officers. He wants to see a gold officer. We've got Silkwing in here. He loves Widow. Oh, he would like a Widow. Widow's pretty dope. CC Master's in stream chat. Love you long time, CC Master as well. He said he's switched faction 2 times, and he thinks that you should at least start with the units you built, since you can't build them. It's difficult when you switch factions. I think we had that problem in Rise to War as well, where you switched and it would like turn all of your 500 pikemen into archers that got obliterated. We've got EchoCast here asking a question. First, he said, it seems that there is a lot more transparency with the devs. I think that's correct. You guys have been on Fellow's stream a couple of times, and shout out to Fellow. I love Fellow. He's another YouTuber. If you guys haven't seen him, check out his channel. He was just streaming the other day with you guys on it. I see you guys in the Discord all the time, responding to questions and stuff. So just from a communication standpoint, you guys have been so much more engaging than what I think the gaming community is used to. It's really nice and refreshing. And then to EchoCast. Oh, Queenie Victoria, welcome to the stream. Love you long time. Neriak, welcome to the stream. He said, how about some alternate skin colors? Okay. And then I'm going to answer one question from EchoCast, and then I'm going to pass the mic to you, Tasks. Okay. EchoCast said, how heavy is the pay-to-win versus Sea of Conquest, which is another game that I played previously? I will tell you guys that obviously I spend a little bit of money on my games. I've spent a little bit, but I've been able to unlock most of the ships that I want with pretty low investment compared to some of the competitive game titles. So I think from a free-to-play standpoint, it's pretty affordable. I'll also tell you, I have a lot of builds where I'm not even using the higher tier skills. A lot of these builds, some of the strongest skills are in the tier 1 abilities that are available at Mastery 0. So there are quite a few ships that I'm using that are Mastery level 3. Moonveal is my strongest PvP ship that I have. I'm using that at Mastery level 2. I don't even have the tier 2 abilities unpacked. Machina has some amazing tier 1 ability trees. So you can really do well. On the Radiant is a blue ship, and it is going to be my lead PvPer here on server 6, I think. And obviously a blue rare ship is going to be more affordable than a legendary. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for low spender players to have a lot of fun and enjoy the grind. And if you decide to spend a little money on the game, go ahead. Get the battle pass. It's pretty good value there as well for not too much money. Loremaster has a question for you guys. Loremaster, just like Blair, has been with me for way too many of these live streams. They've donated way too many hours of their life to the internet through GamerCast. He wants to know, when are you guys going to release on PC? Because the game doesn't work on his tablet.
Gotcha. Well, we could definitely help answer that question to various different degrees. I mean, we're not pushing it completely, but then some people have been using BlueStacks if it makes things a little bit easier for you. But believe it or not, we actually started out on PC. If you guys were playing our game during early access back in November, that was where we did start. But we just wanted to focus on wider distribution, and our game can be pretty taxing if you're not able to play on the go. So we just wanted to make sure that we were able to make things the most playable for the most people out the gate. And then after the fact, things that we are going to continue to work on. So definitely lots of conversations around the PC support. There are some technical steps for us to make sure that the distribution of said PC build is better and smoother for all those involved. So ongoing conversations there, but definitely things that we're talking about.
I love it. And I have your stream on share right now, by the way. You're live.
Awesome. Nice. Okay, so cool. Yeah, but I guess like some questions, things that came up over the conversation that Marty was, Gravity was sharing. So with all of our ships, something he mentioned was that, yes, we don't have any Merry and Pippins. We didn't design any landmines inside our game. I know people really have their hopes high for getting great ships, and there's nothing quite like this feeling. And back in LOTR, I'm going to say something that was not so great, that I'll say some nice things, because I think they did do some great things. But something that wasn't always the best feeling was if you get like a legendary character and then that character isn't the best. Like for me, let's say you unlock a legendary and you get Thranduil back in 1.0, very hard commander to use. I figured out ways to make him serviceable, but then it's just, he's a legendary. I should have been excited. I should be able to use him, and it was much harder than it could have been. But for us, like, okay, maybe even if the Leviathan isn't the best right now, we're gonna put in the time to make sure that we plug in those gaps and the ships are what they're meant to be. But even on the high versus low spender portion, to throw out some love over to the Rise to War team, they did do a great job with making the tier 1 commanders very playable out the gate. Well, obviously Dwalin and Khaldun were very good, but before everybody went to frenzy commanders, Aowen, for example, was very playable. I had a really great time using her out the gates. So we wanted to recapture some of that experience as well.
Yep.
So even if you're not a heavy spender, even if you're just using tier 1 ships like epic and legendary ships, you'll be meaningful. You'll be a meaningful contributor to your team. And it's something that we're not going to always get right. We have introduced some bugs into the game, including Strikecraft that are doing double hits, or were doing double hits, for example, that made some ships really strong. We're going to continue to tune in, make things more fair for everybody. So not always committing to that we're getting things right every single time, but we're gonna put in the time. Cool. All right. That help answer your question there, Randy?
Yeah, no, that was perfect, man. It's I mean, that just reinforces the point. You guys are looking at the balance. I know a couple of the viewers have some balance comments for you later when we get to like the comment section, and we're taking some comments from the stream. For the people that don't know, they've already made a lot of balance changes and fixes. Just the other day, they fixed the Corruptor, which had a skill that when it stunned you, you basically were permanently stunned for the rest of the fight. So they've been going away, picking up feedback from all of us and making the changes. I say they, but you guys, Task and Gravity and your team, thank you for being responsive and on top of it.
Yeah, on that one, I did let you hear about it first before I went out that we were doing that fix.
You did. And I didn't announce it. I didn't tell anybody. I kept my out like a black hole, man. Like the black hole that you guys designed. That's me. We got it covered.
Yeah, but it was a tough thing to send to you because literally you sent to me in like the very last message before what a great job you done with the Corruptor, and I was like, oh man, well, so you took it a lot better than I thought you would. But yeah, just feedback from you guys. We're just continuing to try to fix bugs, plug holes, and make the game better.
And I'll show you that the Corruptor's still good. Yeah. I'll show you some reports from today where I whip some people. You'll get to see. It's still a beautiful ship without the perma-stun.
No, the way that it was meant to be, yeah. But yeah, definitely we are a little bit careful with fixing bugs because sometimes the ships will become reliant on them, and then the ships become top tier to horrible instantly just from fixing a bug. So that's something we try to be very mindful about. So we may push some misses out there, but it's something that we're gonna always keep in mind. But also some comments around the map, Randy, that you mentioned. I mentioned the gravity as well, that if there were people that could appreciate the things that we put into the map, you guys would be the guys to do so and notice some of these touches. Like even with the fallback areas, so much thought went into it where, yes, we want the defeated teams to recover, but there are also those problems previously where defeated teams became also unkillable zombies at times, and that you just couldn't get rid of them.
Yep.
So we just wanted to design something where it just would benefit all those involved. And with all the Strikecraft that Gravity mentioned, we put a lot of time into trying to make them all great. But with sometimes some of the factions with the greatest units in LOTR 1.0, like with Isengard, with all of the Alks and the Berserkers and such, Isengard was a tough faction to play. Same with Rohan. You're just surrounded on all sides. All the leaders are just spending all the time, their entire season, just doing diplo to not get attacked from every direction. Yeah. So we just wanted the units to be accessible.
Isengard especially was maybe the hardest because you were going to get peened by everybody. You had all the elves, you had all the horse people, you had everyone around you ready to kill you. And the starting units are pretty weak until you got the alchemists. And by the way, I noticed you kind of trolled a little bit because you have some of the units, like you have knights, you have alchemists, and when you put the Strikecraft together with those names, you almost made them polar opposites of what they were in Rise to War, which I thought was hilarious. So I appreciated that touch. Thank you. It's fantastic.
Yeah. We definitely spent a lot of time trying to recapture experiences, play. I spent a lot of time trying to make a lot of builds in LOTR as well, and there were things I always wanted to try out. We also built a whole lot more as well. So the amount of combos that we'll be able to create are going to be pretty sizable.
As long as they involve the Cyclops, I'm on board.
Well, you have me on speed dial, my friend.
Yes.
So cool. All right. So I have some stuff on screen. So agenda I should circle back to. I know this one is kind of run with you, Randy. But cool. Can you guys see my screen right now, or is Randy loading it?
Yeah, we can see it. You got the Star Weaver up, right? Or am I looking at the wrong screen?
All right. It should be the one. Yeah, not to tease you, bud. This has been the ship I've been streaming and running a bunch of this stuff for the other streams as well. But Star Weaver, yes, this is where I'm going to jump in. Yeah, back to business. So for our version of gear in our game is the officers, and for me personally, let's say in Rise to War, this is where I've spent most of my time in all the crafting and breaking stuff out. And every time I thought up a new build, I'd do this big shuffle. It would take forever. And I'd also have to worry about breaking something or losing something forever. So we spent a whole lot of time just making sure that this experience was risk-free, because yeah, it's nothing like the feeling of getting something awesome for the first time, but you also just don't want to have to worry about losing it. And who knows, we might always be the most sober people when we're playing this game, and we don't want people to be scared to play in any situation. So what we've created is this crafting implementation where for anything that you do, anything that you craft, we don't have worn out items in the game. What I mean risk-free is when you try to break something back out, no need for hammers, no need to come up with additional officers that help you break something back out by crafting into an additional item. You can just click on Assign Crew. And as you can see, all the ingredients that went into the craft of the officer, they're still there. You can see all the things that you went and put in originally.
I saw retaliate in there. Go back to that. That's my signature skill, man.
Which the things I have done with retaliate.
Yes.
So, I could show another stream. I could show you the things that you mentioned that the alks were really strong. One of the strongest builds was actually with Lurts and retaliate with berserkers.
Yep.
I could show you some stuff there as well. But once you get access to retaliate, it's just a whole different game. What I didn't like about what I loved retaliate, but what I also didn't like about where it showed up in Lord of the Rings is that it was such a buried feature. Wanting to just give a little bit more exposure to that gameplay, the purple items will have a version of retaliate. It might not be as strong, but then from a gameplay perspective, you guys will be able to have that gameplay and enjoy different strategies. There was a question about whether you need to be a heavy spender or not. For that, not so much, and we just wanted to get it out and available to you guys.
And to your point, cool. It's on multiple purple officers, and I have them. I have the purples. I don't have the legendary retaliate yet. That's probably it's on your Star Weaver. I haven't got Star Weaver yet. So when I get the Star Weaver, I'll probably pull the retaliate at the same time. I have both purples, and it's fantastic, and it has made a lot of my early game builds a lot of fun.
Right, and some of the stuff becomes more of a necessity because we made the taunt Strikecraft a little bit more accessible on both sides. You don't need swans on the good side to trigger some of this stuff. But with the introduction of a lot of these kind of Swan Alchemist and Swan Reaper Swan type of builds, one of the biggest counters to all of that stuff was the retaliate. So we just wanted to give people an answer earlier. So these things that we've put into consideration, but we will see how some of this stuff goes, and we'll obviously have to make some adjustments there.
I got Bunny on stream. He was just destroying my soundproof curtains that I closed my door so you don't hear the babies, and he's in trouble. For all the folks on the stream, you see those little black things on his fur? This is my goddamn soundproof curtains. He's going to be a slipper pretty soon. Yeah. My bunny's a little asshole. I don't know if you guys know that from previous streams, but okay. All right. I'm sorry. Keep going, please.
All good, man. We're excited here to meet your community and get to know them better. But yeah, on this, back to this page, all the stuff that you had when you inserted them into the officer, one quick button and they're all back out. Didn't even have to unequip this guy, and all your stuff is still there. So risk-free, have fun. But one additional piece that we introduced was, and I mentioned the other stream, even with gear and loader, I used to swap burn armor between officers when you see this. You know which king is about to land. With in between skills for a single piece of gear, we've made it such that, well, if you accidentally crafted the wrong skill, you don't have to break the whole thing up and put it back together again just to get something that you already have. So if you want to duke it out with your best at your best power, sure, you can equip the skill that gives you damage resistance or damage, extra damage dealt. But if you know that you're going to need some type of confusion or madness or stun resistance, you can quick swap. One quick button and you're loaded with the additional skill. So as fast as these button clicks, you can swap between all these things that you've collected, you've earned, they're yours, you can use them. Hopefully that'll save a bunch of people a whole lot of time and allow you guys to try different combos of builds much faster.
It's amazing, man. And for all my viewers, all my RTS buddies, I'm not just throwing them curveballs, I mean softballs here. This freaking gear system, this officer system is amazing. Like, I have theory crafted so many different builds that you guys will be seeing in some cool videos coming up here. There is such a wide variety of stuff, including a lot of my favorite officers with initiative, which I'll be talking about in an upcoming video. The ability to switch things around and break the gear up, and I have spent, that's probably what I spend half my time doing, is theory crafting more builds. So it's been fantastic. It's not punishing like in Rise to War. It punished you. You know, if you broke up your item and you didn't have a hammer, you would lose your source item. You would lose. So like, there was a couple seasons where Retaliate didn't. It was really okay. So I don't know if you guys know me from Rise to War, Task and Gravity, but I was the Retaliate king. I mean, I made Retaliate great in every season I could, including with Treebeard one time. And a lot of people didn't like that. But it also was a terrible build. But it punished you when you tried to break things up. It was hard. You only got a couple hammers a season. If you didn't use a hammer, you lost the source item. You end up with a bunch of worn out items. It was really punishing to theory craft and Rise to War and mess with gear. So it's very nice to be able to do it here and not have to worry that I'm going to lose my item. So thank you for that.
Yeah, it's imagine waking up from a hangover and that's like not the worst thing that happened.
Yeah. Or waking up with a hangover like Glare, and now you have a Respect 12. Oh my gosh, oh my god, she's gonna kill me. I'm trying to remember the dude's name. Kirdan. She's Respect 12 Kirdan with like a maxed out his maxed out pipe. It's like, what? What are you doing with that? With the spyglass? I don't know if you guys remember, but Kirdan was just like one of those awful commanders that was never good ever. She woke up with like a wine hangover one day and a maxed out Kirdan. So yeah, that'll happen.
Yeah. Well, we're doing our best to just take away the risk where it makes sense.
Yes. Jax Cali gave you a shout out, by the way. I don't know if you know Jax Cali, but he gave you a shout out.
Oh yeah, he's my boy. We've been in a few seasons together. I'm on his team right now, and was way back on our evil team, and we probably do like the most theory crafting with each other, or at least like he's one of the guys that I do the most theory crafting with. So nice. Yeah, definitely appreciate that he's here. Cool. All right. So you mentioned wanting to see Strikecraft fly around, or imagine what it would look like if they did. So let me just navigate around to a different part of our game. It's an area where we're spending more time to do feature development and such. But like, there's definitely there was something in LOTR 1.0. I guess they still have a version of it now, called the Red Book, and it was PvE. It was an area of the game where you could try out different types of things, in the early stages of the game. It was kind of heavy where you had to spend a lot of time navigating tiles and such. But at some point in time, the challenge didn't get stronger and you couldn't test out your strongest builds.
Yeah.
For us, we built a simpler version of it, more for the onboarding right now. Everything just kind of dies. You just kind of jump in there. Let me just kind of give you an example of what I'm talking about here. Send some stuff, goes out. Well, while we're looking at this, just to talk a little bit about what we're seeing here, we have 2 real ships right now with their Strikecraft flying in all directions. And I really do think that the engineering team might have maybe spent a little bit too much time on this, but then they work on what they love, and that they just really wanted to do a good job here.
It looks awesome, man. I love this stuff, by the way.
The craziest thing is we didn't even ask for it, and that we have it available. And because we do, things that we could take advantage of in the future, which is based off of what Strikecraft you have, they could actually float around in the intended formation that they should be moving in. So sky's the limit on things that we could do there. But in terms of sky, the sky being the limit in terms of things we could do from a gameplay perspective. This is where in the future, it'll be nice if we start to put really meaningful challenges in here for you guys, ways for you guys to test out some of your tough builds against the right combos. In Rise to War, it's kind of tough to always find the correct matchup. Like if you're trying to counter a Sunan, well, you have to face a Sunan just to test out the build. Well, maybe you won't always have to. So just a little bit of a teaser out there for things that we're thinking a lot about and things that we could introduce.
Let me ask you a question on that. Maybe you already thought about this, but what if you did some type of, well, you already had the PvP leaderboard for war rankings, but what if you took, if you had a way to track like kills on different ships, and you took, let's say, the top kill ship builds from the top 3 people, and it just snapshotted it every Monday at midnight, and those became like events. Those became the challenges. Like you could fight the top 3 people's like 3 strongest ships and mess around with them. I mean, what if you did something like that? Or you could do competitions where folks can submit builds, and then you like plug them into the game every week, and you kind of change that every week. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, one thing that Rise to War did do good, again, like they did a lot of great things. Well, one of the things that they did great was showcasing builds. Players could submit builds. We could learn from each other and try different things. I always wanted to fight those builds. And yeah, they weren't the most successful things, but lots of opportunities here. Maybe people could submit their builds. We make a game out of it, make a challenge out of it, and create some rewards when people are able to. Some stuff that Jack's talked about as well, related to all this in our other stream as well. So I guess keep the ideas coming. If you guys have some cool ideas, we can only do so much with the time that we have, so we want to make sure that we make some good calls. But there's a lot of fun stuff.
Oh yeah,
that we have both down the pipe and that you guys are giving us great ideas for.
Yeah, I think we have some community suggestions too. Once we're out an opportunity to take a look at some of those. There's a lot of great content, and I think everyone is really, really excited about it and really inspired about what's going on. And everybody has. I had like 30 different people send me suggestions and stuff to share with you guys over the last couple of days since we kind of announced what we were going to do. That you guys were going to be coming on again. First, I've been making videos for like, I don't know, 8 or 9 years now. I've never seen, the actual creators willing to communicate with the community, engage. It's never happened. Never. I played a lot of games for a long time. I've seen a lot of streams. It doesn't happen. So really happy you guys are here. And I did have to tell everybody, I was like, well, listen, I'm not going to bombard them with 500 suggestions, but I did collect 3 or 4 of some of the top ones, and then a couple balanced suggestions for you if you want to hear them, and then we can get to some of the comments in actual stream chat. What do you think about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, in the interest of time, we might not be able to go through everything today, but we can definitely jump in again for sure. We have a lot of time to make sure that we can knock out all these things, and you definitely are able to chat with me at any time as well. So we'll do what we can.
Okay.
yeah, why don't we just go through the rest of the stream and then we'll just kind of wing it at the tail end.
Yeah, that sounds good. You got some
All
more
right.
stuff you want to show?
Yeah, some stuff that we definitely want to cover today because there are a lot of questions around, hey, I want to play with my friends. They're on different servers. Yeah, do I want to coordinate with them and jump onto a new server when it opens up? There's a whole bunch of that stuff going on right now. Are you guys able to see my screen share right now?
Yes.
Okay, sweet. So how we want to kind of address this is two-pronged. This
Teams
is
list.
a snippet. There's a snippet of something that we're designing right now. Like where I mentioned this is two-pronged, I think that there are things that need to be addressed for where teams are going for future seasons, and then separately, it's similar, but it's a different problem for trying to get people back together again when they're on different maps right now. So this is specifically for talking about how to get people back together going into future maps and related ways how we want to implement or optimize for future maps. So something like what you're seeing here might seem familiar. It's something that Rise to War also does a version of, which is that you can create like a guild leader, can create a copy of the existing guild, or you can create from scratch. But you can create teams for where you want to go in the next future season. And you can start recruiting and joining together for the team leader to make decisions on what you will jump into or what you will not jump into in the next season. Still kind of a challenge for the team leaders is finding the right map to play. Some of the higher reputation guilds like try to find exciting servers, and there are other guilds that duck them. I have some of that experience being in Jax's guild. He could talk all about it. Since he's more on the leadership side, he sees a little bit more than I do. But it's a challenge. And is it really the thing that you want to spend all of your time doing, just to try to make sure that you can get into a great server? So one thing that we're going to try to do, or something we're more interested in, is once everybody registers for their teams, we have a sense of who these people are. If they're big farmers or they're heavy PvPers, we can try to direct traffic in ways where you get better matchups. People won't necessarily be able to duck you, but we're trying to create an experience for all players the way that they want to play as well. We're not going to try to send you up against the big boogeyman of the server for you to get absolutely crushed if you're a beginner guild, for example. So with a lot of games, you have matchmaking, you have, like in Starcraft, you have these different ranking tiers like diamonds, like platinum, master, and such. There were some concerns when I mentioned this in a previous stream. I don't know, it might have been Silkwing or someone else that mentioned this, like, oh, we don't want everybody segregated into different tiers or different complete ranking groups. Yeah, that's not necessarily the intention out the gate. If it gets there and it works, great. But for us, we're just trying to match people up from a map level with people that they should be playing with. And we're not going to try to be too prescriptive of it, but then definitely trying to at least guard against those extremes like we mentioned. We probably don't want the strongest skills in the game fighting against beginners because, well, we've been in those, all been in those maps as well, where everybody's fully upgraded gold gear and you're fighting these guys with a bunch of blues, and it's just not fun, and you don't even feel good fighting those guys.
Although the blues are good in this game, by the way, the blues are good for all the viewers. I'm using blues on several ships. Don't discount the blues. I'm sorry. Keep going.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. But we definitely put in a lot of care to make sure that the free players can play.
Yeah.
So glad you are able to recognize that. So on the team side, something coming down the pipe, something that we're working on. Separately, on the guild side, not completely different from the village system, we are trying to design something where if you missed out and you are not on the server with all of your friends, sometimes people got left behind. Even in back end, some people like sometimes couldn't. Back when everybody had to micromanage their own registration, people got left behind. So there's always going to be that situation, or maybe in a new season we find out, or someone of your old friends ask you what you're doing and want to jump in. We want to create an opening for that. So in the guild system right now, we're exploring ways to invite people from different servers. We don't want to put no guardrails into it. There's something that we're still talking about there that makes sense. We don't want people fleeing servers. There are a lot of concerns around different things that could happen. But then there was some good that came from the village system in LOTR, and we're going to explore our own implementation for some of that. So a lot more to come there. So as we're starting to crystallize the execution for this, we'll be able to share more.
That's really exciting, for sure. And then the one thing I'll mention, and I'm sure you guys have already considered it, you have to find a way to do it in a way that if you're pulling players from a live season, I don't know if you're going to have that as one of the features or not, but if you do end up getting players from a live season, I wonder if that would affect the servers that they're coming from, especially if it's a large number of folks. That's one of the complaints I have for one of the other games that I play, is as soon as the server transfers open up, 75% of the servers died because everybody jumped to, out of 25 servers, only like 4 or 5 of them ended up being active, and it kind of killed that. So, like I said, I'm sure you guys have already thought about that and you're considering that as you develop these things. But just something to make a note of, learn from those games that didn't do it right. I think if you do it right, it could be really amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely things to be more careful about. One of our engineers, he's from Blizzard, and over at some of those games, Battle.net games, World of Warcraft, I think that was the one that he was referring to. People could jump between servers, but there would be some protections and guardrails because there were learnings over time, and things to be pretty thoughtful about. So things that we're going to continue to talk about with our team members, you guys, and if we don't get it perfect the first time, it's something that we're going to continue to learn from.
Yeah. And World of Warcraft probably made all their money from me because I was the guy with like 8 alts and I was transferring them. I had like 6 twinks, like level 19 twinks with maxed out gear and heirloom stuff. I would transfer them all over the place. So I probably spent thousands of dollars on frickin' server transfers with Blizzard. So if you can do it like that and you do it right, then yeah, I think that would be a pretty cool feature.
Yeah. Well, if you obviously have a lot of experience in these server transfers, if like there's some certain gotchas to watch out for, definitely let me know.
Oh yeah.
But cool. But yes, so while we have everybody here, you guys still see my screen. I switched my share. Okay. It's something that you asked me more about than the fellow. I'm still not going to get super into it, but we have this website, and it has these other types of milestones that you can see. Some milestones for simple things like conquering a 60 influence tile. Some things are a little bit more involved, like have various different levels of collection on top of your
By the way,
influence.
fellow just joined the stream. Welcome to the stream, fellow, and Dobie. Love you guys long time.
All right. What up,
I'm sorry. Keep going, tasks.
Oh, no, it's all good. It's all good. I know we didn't talk about it too much in history. I'm still not going to go about it too much, but then obviously, like, because you broached it with me, feel free to always ask me any question, and I want to be available there. But we have multiple different types of rewards here. There are loyalty points. We're still looking at the data and getting a sense of where all of the players are falling in terms of what their loyalty point allocation is, but we are thinking at the very end of the season, because we know that our product right now is still getting refined, and we don't have all the same end of season rewards out there just yet. They're being showcased even on the seasonal milestones, but we want to make it worth everybody's while. There may be rewards related to these loyalty point tokens earned, or loyalty points earned at the end of the season there. So just stuff for the pure free-to-play guys that are not interested in blockchain, all this kind of stuff. There is stuff here. But related to blockchain, you mentioned this to me, Randy, as well. There is a component here that is a reward on top of the loyalty points. You don't have to engage. I know a lot of people are not the most involved in this stuff. Maybe some of your teammates are. I do know that I mentioned in the other stream. I know that some of the Gaia, if those guys are still around, those guys have like a crypto stream that or a crypto thread inside their Discord that I'm in. For the people that are interested, or for your teammates that are interested, it's something that they can engage in. And we're coming up with more ways where we're thinking it up more ways where if they want to engage and you don't, maybe there's some sort of trade-off that could happen between the people that want to and the people that don't. But there's stuff there. I know this is not that type of audience, but I just also don't want to withhold information from people, because right now, well, for stuff that is obviously heavily showcased in our game, because, well, we have this other Discord, our gamer Discord, and there were a few people like Neriak and a few people like wondering about these promotions we're doing in different parts of the world, and this is one of them. So we are letting everybody know that if you guys are interested, hit us up. But if you guys are not, don't worry about it so much.
Can I speak
Clay,
to that
on
real
your
quick?
side?
I want to jump in on that.
Definitely on your side. Well, you know your audience better than me, obviously. Yeah. Whatever they're more interested in learning about, we can get into.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and then for those of you that have been with me for a long time, you might remember I actually did some videos for some blockchain games years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. I've been waiting for a good blockchain game. Me personally, I don't even care about the arcade itself. I think it's great. I'm waiting to see what we do with NFTs and in-game trading and in-game marketplace, and I'm waiting to see what you guys are going to do with an in-game economy, because I've been waiting personally. I have been following crypto gaming for a long time. I mean, I gotta say, I probably got my first like pre-game NFTs. It's like 7 or 8 years ago. So like I've been waiting for someone to do a good game, and this is a great game. So now I'm waiting, and I know a lot of my audience is waiting to see what you guys do with the in-game economy and how you kind of implement that. Is that going to be getting mastery schematics? Is that going to be maybe a way to trade officers? Like, what is it going to look like? I think we're all waiting to see. And I don't know if you guys have that fully planned out. Maybe you do. I don't know if you're able to share that, but if you want to elaborate on that, I would love to know what you guys are
definitely
thinking.
things that we could, definitely things we could speak on. Like, want to stress that we're first and foremost a game for people to just kind of play and have fun. And it's not about blockchain, and it's not built. We don't have a lot of blockchain built into our core tech for our game, and there are a lot of best practices for working with the mobile platforms, and we want to keep our relationship with the mobile platforms like in the best place that it can be. So we are first and foremost a mobile game. Now, that being said, these rewards are these things that are external to the game. So for the people that are interested, they can engage in this stuff. I don't believe that we're going to go down the direction, definitely not at this point in time. There's no plans for it to make crypto a requirement to engage, or that you're going to miss out in any way if you choose not to engage. But as you can see in this website, there's stuff that you can do, stuff that you can access. And for those people that want to engage in that type of economy, where there might be, concepts of trading, we'll talk about that stuff when we have that stuff a little bit more crystallized. But what we want to stress is that we're not going to make it so that if you don't engage in crypto, you miss out. We're going to make sure that everybody that just wants to play the game and enjoy it to the full extent that they can.
Sorry about that. My 6-year-old came into my office butt naked, so I had to escort her right back out.
Cool.
Yeah, the wife is showering them.
It shows that we're live.
Yeah. She didn't get on camera, so YouTube won't ban me forever. Thank God. But yeah, that had to do some damage control real quick. yeah, I think we're all just really excited to see what happens. And there's no pressure. I know the drop got pushed back a little bit. I think we're all just excited and waiting to see what's going to happen, which is really cool. So on the screen right now, by the way, I just want to show you. I just switched over to from the website you're sharing. I just switched over to in-game, where I just got whooped by CC Master in 2 fights that I want to show you.
Oh, are you sharing right now? Okay, all right. Let's swap over to.
Let me share real quick with you. Yeah, let me put this on the screen. First, I want to show you the Eclipse, because this is I was a big Shadow fan, and Undying fan, and the Eclipse seems a lot like the Undying to me. A lot of similar mechanics. But this is me getting whooped by Moonveal. I just want to show you the Moonveal because it is the meta right now. There's a 7-level difference here. There's some blue gear. See that? See, viewers, I got the blue gear. I'm not just talking the walk here. And I'm fighting against CC Master, who we all know is a monster, Kraken in every game he plays. But the Moonveal right now, one of the community comments that I agree with, that you guys might want to look at, is the Moonveal's healing potential. It can out-heal the damage of any other ship to the point where it's almost invincible unless you can beat it with another Moonveal, essentially. That's really the only way. I've been able to kill it with a Corruptor and having it kill itself and then killing it with another Moonveal. But the amount of healing nuke that it gets from its Search and Seizure ability, combined with 3 healing skills in the bottom tier 1 skill tree, I've seen this ship do more than 200,000 healing in a fight. It's absolutely incredible. The Eclipse, again, I'm several levels below, but I just want you to first see. Shout out to CC Master because he's a fantastic. But also, this is the first community suggestion that like 6 different people shared with me, and I'm just sharing it with you now in real time. I did 100,000 damage to him, and he out-healed the damage I dealt, and then killed my poor Eclipse.
Yeah, well, it's definitely on our end. It's a combination of some balancing and some extra stuff we're going to build into the attack right now. But like the healing is very strong. We went out the gate also very strong with evasion, and that's kind of toned down just a little bit as well. But on the healing side, yes, you can re-heal all of your damage, even from damage taken in previous rounds. So it is a bit stronger than anything we've seen in LOTR Rise to War as well, where there's a gate or a cap to how much you can heal for certain things from previous rounds. So we're definitely aware of it. My DMs are definitely blowing up based off of these types of matches. So we're aware of it. So we're gonna revisit and tune to some degree. The biggest risk of tuning is to make the Moonveil like weak because we took away its biggest strength. So we're gonna the big balance is to make sure that's still strong.
100%.
This is.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. But even Rise of War, like I mentioned, I was fighting this guy named The Light from way back when, and when he was hitting down, he really liked Galadriel back in the day, which had a lot of healing, and he healed 200, 250 on me one time.
Yeah.
And I can't find the battle report, but she was unkillable if you're hitting down. And then once she started to meet people that met her match, she wasn't quite the unkillable killing machine again. It's just that if you got the healing rate to be greater than the damage that you're receiving, that's when she was great.
Yeah.
So for us, we definitely don't want to create a situation where once everything matures as well, that the Moonveil just starts to fall behind anyway. So lots of things for us to consider as we're gonna try to rebalance this guy.
Yeah, I understand that 100%. On my other Neriak had a question in chat, by the way. Silkwing, well, first off, Lord Knight said he wants to use Arcade to mint a ship, whether that's an NFT ship or if he wants mastery schematics, I don't know, but he wants to use Arcade to mint a ship. Silkwing said he wants to spend the Arcade he earned in the game, or does he have to trade it before he can spend it? And then Neriak wants to know if can arcade increase my RNG my RNG chances, because he also hasn't gotten the Star Weaver yet.
Yeah. Lots of things that we can explore, and that obviously, as you guys are throwing these things out, we're jotting these things down.
Yeah.
On the arcade, for all the users, like we're not, or I'm not at complete liberty to talk about all the plans there just yet, because it's something that spans multiple games. Uh, Stuff that we have the most control of are things that happen inside our game specifically. But arcade is something that's bigger toward the ecosystem of our company even. And there are some, if you guys start to search a little bit about our company, there's a lot of news out there regarding like other projects that we're in. So if you guys are interested to find out more, definitely go check out some of the resources or hit me up on a DM. But yeah, I guess I just wanted to, for I know the kind of audience that we're in right now, which is like where we're talking to, which is more hardcore gamers. We really want to focus on that. We're making a hardcore game.
Yeah, and that's the truth. I mean, it is a fantastic hardcore game. I don't know if you guys saw, but I'm taking credit for your world first Command Center level 10 on server 2. I don't know if you saw my Twitter post from a few weeks ago, but this has, for those of you, there's a few folks in my stream who are Rise to War players and are considering what this game is. This game has a great grind, and I'll have my server 2 up on the screen now. I got to share it in Discord. I don't have multiple accounts, I promise. All right, let me share server 2 with you. Yeah, we have a great grind game here in War of Nova. I can't say enough good things about it. I've really enjoyed the grind, really enjoyed leveling up. You get what you put in. I am not the biggest spender by any means on either server, but like I said, you get what you put in. You guys saw me farming level 300s with a level 38 Radiant, a blue ship, mastery level 5, I believe. Mastery 3, wow, it's only Mastery 3. I've been farming level 300 tiles with Mastery 3, going all the way back to level 36 Radiant. So, like, if you have the right build, and you guys, if my fellow Rise to War players remember what's going on, just by logging in every 3 or 4 hours and really grinding it out, you can do a lot of cool things. So, the activity and the grind, very much still a key part of these games. Oh no, my Astaroth is dead. I'm on server 2 here. Let me show you a matured Moonveil versus Moonveil fight from earlier today, because I have made Moonveil my main up here. I've also got Corruptor as my main on server 2, and I've been whooping people with a low-level Corruptor like nobody's business. I'm going to try and pull up this Moonveil fight, just so I can show like what you guys were talking about before. If you are fighting some mature ships, the balancing is actually in a pretty good place at that level. Oh, look at this. Perfect. This is the Moonveil versus Moonveil attack. You guys see this? See my stream test?
Yeah, definitely on my end, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, what's good to see here is that, yeah, they're evenly matched, but then both of them aren't at full health, that they're able to kind of dish enough damage to compensate for the healing right here. And this is definitely something we wanted to be careful about as well, where we want to make things more fair with the Moonveil, but we don't want to make it super weak on the other side. So we're going to constantly tune and revisit and make sure that we keep it good.
Yeah, it's a monster of a ship for sure. And for the viewers out there wondering about theory crafting, the reason why I am actually getting the upper hand on this level 50 Moonveil and I'm 45, we have similar strength, officers on board. I think I have one or two extra stars here and there, is because I am prioritizing initiative gear. So like I have officers in here with tons of initiative. I have 363 initiative on this Moonveil, whereas Locagos, and again shout out to Locagos, is at 359. So that 4 initiative is allowing me to get my skills off before him. And something I've noticed in TAS and Gravity, I don't know if you guys can confirm this or not, but I feel like when a ship has lower command remaining, lower strikecrafts remaining, it does a little bit less damage. I feel like that's something I've noticed. And again, I don't know if you can confirm that mechanic or not for all these fantastic viewers and theory crafters on here, but getting initiative and being able to hit first in a fight is often a deciding factor. So make sure that you can beat stronger ships just by making sure that you gear correctly, which I think is really, really cool as well.
Yeah. Oh, well, on that last bit, I know we've talked about a lot of these things, like obviously more on the direct damage dealers when their strikecraft gets lower, the direct damage dealers do a little bit less. But like on the specifics on that question, I don't. I think I need to go back to look it up. But also see if I'll be able to disclose that for you next time. But off the top of my head right now, I currently do not know the answer to that.
I won't ask you for the battle formula.
I don't believe that is the case right now, though. But then, like, in all honesty, but I know that we talked about all of this stuff, so I don't want to give you the wrong answer.
That's fair enough. I feel like and maybe I'm just imagining it, but I feel like I've seen it a couple times. Oh, and here's Corruptor, by the way, almost wiping out level 41 Corruptor, folks. Almost wiping out this level 50 Moonveil here. Just obliterating it, because Corruptor is a beautiful, beautiful piece of art that you guys made, both aesthetically and with its PvP domination factor. But yeah, I feel like when I fought against an enemy ship that has lower command, it's done less damage. But I could be imagining it. Okay. Well, do you want to take a few comments from chat while we still got you? I know it's getting late for you guys.
Yeah. Probably just a couple. There's actually a bunch of combos flying around for work right now. If people are listening to the stream, well, I know what you guys are typing right now, and I might have to Gravity, and I might have to get back to work soon because questions are piling up on things that we're involved in.
Fair enough.
But yeah, let's take a couple, and then maybe we could try to save some for the next stream with you guys.
Nice. Okay. Well, you heard it, viewers. Put your questions in chat. We'll see if we can convince TAS and Gravity to answer a few here before we convince them to rejoin us in a future stream. Once you drop some in chat, and while we wait for them to put some in, I'll just give you, because again, I got about 20, 30 people sending me comments this week. I'm just going to list the top 3 community suggestions that multiple people gave me, okay? There's the Guild and Merit store with cool things like the base reload and mastery schematics and experience scrolls and speed ups and stuff. So that's a Guild and or Merit store. That was a very common suggestion. We also had leaderboards on planets. That was something that Rise to War did, which I thought was interesting. First captures on cities in Rise to War. You could see the damage leaderboard and the siege leaderboard. That would be really cool to see again. So I agree with that suggestion as well. And then another suggestion that I found particularly insightful, I hadn't even thought about it, and this just came to me about an hour before our stream started. One of my buddies said that they would like to see some sort of way to break up the galaxy zones, because you have the overall map. These zones, they're really just big open zones, and some of the advantages to fighting in different areas in Rise to War was having like a terrain advantage where you could have some bottlenecks, or you could force people, to do things, and have longer march times and things like that. And you can kind of do that here to an extent, but at the same time, once you break through a crossing, it's essentially open season. So I thought that was a cool suggestion. If you had a way to, you already break them up a little bit, but if you had a way to break them up further here and there, I think that would be a cool way to have some fun with the mechanics as well. So those are the 3 suggestions I wanted to share, and it looks like we have some people coming in from chat. Okay, the B Games is asking if they can get patch notes. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's definitely things that we're trying to get better at. There are some patch notes that have gone out previously, but definitely like early on, a lot of our stuff just involved system stability, so we're just patching up things that are a little bit more urgent. But for things where, hey, we were fixing the evasion on the corruptor or various different things where the ship is too strong, things like that. Anything involving balance, there are definitely things where we want to release a lot more in terms of those things. But most definitely, wherever forum that where you guys are following the most, let us know, and we'll try to make sure everybody gets updated.
Awesome. Do you guys have a suggestions channel? I should probably know the answer to that. But do you have one in the War of Nova Discord itself?
We have a Discord, for sure. Let me just try to look at some of the latest and greatest there. I thought we did.
I see feedback and bug report, but it doesn't.
Yeah,
it
we
looks
could
like
probably
you
whip
have a
up
form,
yeah.
huh? I'm sorry.
Okay. I mean, oh, you're looking for a very specific forum where you can shoot stuff over to.
It looks like you
us.
have
Is that
it.
what you're looking for?
You have a Google link where you can share feedback or bugs. I feel like one of the best ways that you're going to get good, meaningful feedback from the community is having an open suggestions channel where people can upvote or like the thread or something like that. That could be something worth adding to the War of Nova Discord. And by the way, all the viewers here, if you don't know, there's actually two Discords. They have the Revolving Games Discord that has all the different game stuff and NFTs and crypto and everything. But there's also the smaller War of Nova specific Discord, which you guys should all definitely join, and that's dedicated to War of Nova. I'll actually put a link in chat here in case you guys aren't in it yet. Is that where you guys would put tasks or gravity? Is that where you would put a suggestions channel, or would you put it in the main?
Yeah, most definitely. I would put it in the War of Nova area. Like you've mentioned, we've kept it more contained to, well, currently right now it's mostly players from the communities that we're more familiar with, because we want to keep it about the game and the gameplay, and obviously some more advanced and expert feedback and suggestions. Yeah, so basically where we could do our best work effectively. So that's where I would recommend posting feedback.
So that's one comment, question. Silkwing, I guess similar. Is there going to be a known bugs issue list? He's asking about a known bugs issues list that you would maybe keep. I don't know if that'd be public or not.
Yeah, we could definitely circle this back to our team. Obviously, some things that involve like security and stability, all this kind of stuff, we won't mention like everything that we're doing. But then for the stuff that pertains to users, obviously you guys spend a lot of time trying to come up with the best builds and be notified that certain things have been fixed. Even on the bug side related to, okay, well, there was a bug with one of the abilities. Yeah, these are definitely things that we could try to make more available to all of you guys.
It's pretty cool. I like it. CC Master has a question. When does faction switching close? Do you know when that closes? Is there like a specific season milestone where it shuts down?
Yeah, on that, I don't believe so, but I guess I want to circle that with the team. That's not something that I know for sure off the top of my head, but I think it's not something to worry about just yet.
He likes to switch factions every week. He's in his third faction right now.
Well, happy that he's engaged in the way that he likes to play the most.
Yes.
But yeah, for us, it's something that's constantly evolving. Like we're mentioning, even map switching. What does that mean? Is there a way to do it sensibly without impacting activity on existing maps? So we're most definitely going to pay attention to maps that have a lot of engagements, and think where we don't want to, or we don't want to create a situation where we mess with that. So yeah, lots to focus on there.
Nice. My BlueStacks just crashed, by the way, for any of the viewers who are wondering where the screen went. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And I know you guys got to go in a second here. So how about one more from chat? Let's see here. EchoCast, I think, has a really great question. I wanna open up his comment here. He says, as a longtime mobile player, my biggest concern is always in-game inflation. Like I mentioned earlier, pay to win is balanced now, it seems, and I agree. Will there be game-breaking pay-to-win updates often with big game success? So I guess his question is now my other BlueStacks window's crashing. I guess his question, like Rise to War made almost every game I've ever played. About a year in, they start releasing content that is not good for the health of the game, and it's more designed to make people spend more. And I think if you guys build a great game, like look at World of Warcraft, for example, they have built a model where it doesn't cost a lot to play, but it's such a good game and such a good ecosystem that you'll continue to play the game for people have been playing for 20 years, right? They're still server transferring. I played for like 10 years. I server transferred every couple weeks. If you have a good ecosystem and a good game, the money will come without breaking the game. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
Is that
Well, I could talk about from two angles. Like from the solutions angle, I think it's going to be an ongoing discussion, things that we're going to constantly try to tune, and give more free-to-play rewards when people are very engaged. But then just talking from my own personal experience, like in Rise to War, I've been playing a lot of seasons. I've played in seasons where earlier seasons when everybody was more engaged and we could exchange strategies and plans and builds that everybody could get involved with. And then going to the later seasons, some of our top leaders in all of our guilds weren't the biggest spenders. They were just great organizers of people and great guild leaders. They couldn't even keep up with the game. So the game just churned out all of my friends, and it sucked. And for me, just having fewer people to play with wasn't great for me as one of the heavier spenders, if you guys know who I am, or my game account. So it wasn't great for the spenders either. That's just all I can say about that. So I definitely want an ecosystem where there's fun for all those involved at both ends, because I think it's an important thing to solve for.
Yeah, I think 100%. And like I said, I mean, if you guys keep making, I mean, the game's already great. If you keep making it better and better, just having the game not turn out all your low spender friends, like you said, I mean, those are the people that are going to come. And if the game's great, they're going to spend the $15-20 on the battle pass and maybe 1 or 2 packs like per season. And you're going to end up with a community that has a lot of longevity and loyalty and perfect. I mean, you definitely know your shit, because that was a big problem. It got to a place where if you weren't a decent sized whale, you couldn't even try the new builds that were flying around. And as somebody who was a whale in Lord of the Rings, and I had 4 sets of completely maxed out 4-piece gold gear, a couple Zenith commanders. It even I couldn't play all the builds, man. And it was like I have every hero, every commander. Almost all of them were like respect 10 plus with, like I said, a bunch of Zeniths, and it's like I couldn't even play half the builds that were becoming the meta. So really hope that you guys continue down this track of and you don't have to cater 100% to free to play. I mean, like I said, if you make a great game, folks are going to put in the $15-20 a season, no problem, without even thinking about it. It's just a matter of making it continue to have that accessible gaming culture that doesn't turn out our friends. I think that's a big deal.
You bet, Randy.
We'll keep the dialogue open, and we're going to continue to work on it. Yeah, Gravity, you were saying?
No, I was just saying that that's what attracted us to this rule set in the first place. Not having useless ships in these cases. We don't want them burying Pippins out there. We want that active balance. And the fact is that like what's so compelling about this gameplay style is that you get to fight alongside the whales. You know,
Yep.
you get to do your part. You get to do those things. You get to like look on that suggestion there about looking on the leaderboard of the planet. You're like, fuck, I topped out at siege damage. I did third. You know,
Yeah.
there is a place for everyone, and we want to like try to even not only double down on that, but like find other opportunities too, because it just makes the round the clock gameplay better. You know,
Yeah.
there's a guy that is playing in UTC, you know, like +8, and then his UTC -7 whales come on, and things are ready for them. You
Yeah.
know, everyone did their part, and yeah, definitely there's no point on making this just a American game or European game. We want that participation across the board. It's the most fulfilling part of this game.
Yeah, 100%. And by the way, this is just CC Master just whooping me again for all the viewers, in case you wanted to see. You mother effer. I'll get to you soon. I'm coming up there with some anti-hero real soon, baby. I'm coming for you, CC. Okay.
Got it. I mean,
Yeah.
I gotta go and at the beginning of the stream, someone sniped my path, so I gotta go and get on his ass.
Yes. Well, listen, Tass and Gravity, really happy you guys joined the stream. We actually went, just so the viewers know, they told me they were only going to be for an hour because they had to work. It's going on 2 hours right now. So big thank you to you guys for joining us and sticking with us. And I think it's been a great conversation. Can't wait to have you back in the future if you're willing to come back, if I didn't scare you away. And love the game, folks. So if you guys got to go, I understand. And we'll definitely, I'll probably keep streaming for another half hour so I can get some revenge on CC Master here. Do you guys have any parting words?
Well, on my end, just yeah, we really appreciate you inviting us here to share our game, and glad that you guys enjoy it at this point in time. But we're definitely going to keep on working at it and making sure that this can be the best game that it can be. Yeah, I'm just excited to get introduced to your community, Randy, and we try to be accessible and currently right now, at least inside our Discord, if you guys want to engage with us a little bit more, there are definitely a few ways to do it.
Awesome. I love it. All right, guys. Well, thanks for hopping on. Don't feel like I'm pushing you out, but you have to go. I get it. And I do hear some more screaming in the other room, so I actually might have to go and help the wife with bath time. I hear some blood-curdling screams over there. Yes.
All right, it's been a pleasure, Randy.
All right, we'll catch you guys in a few.
Thanks a lot.
All right. Thanks, Randy. All right. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Take it easy, guys. We'll see you in the game.
Yes. All right. That was pretty cool,
that was
huh?
fun.
Yeah, yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
Oh, you're still on. By the way, I'm still streaming voice chat.
No problem.
I didn't end the stream yet, but guys, I really do. I hear some screaming, so I am gonna end the actual stream as well. All the viewers, I love you long time. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be back with more streams and stuff this coming weekend. Sorry, I was out of town. So, like and subscribe. Randy